Okay, we're going to start with the easy factoring ones. Finding the GCF. What does that stand for? Greatest common factor. So something you can take out of every single term. Find the greatest common factor. So number 1. Everyone see my purple pen, okay? So greatest common factor. I want to know, what can I take out of all 3 of those terms that is common? Bless you. What can I take out? Okay, right? So if you want and if you need to, you could divide by k, like when we divided monomials, if that helps you. That way you can visually see you're taking a k out of everything. Some of you, I know you don't need that. So the greatest common factor goes on the outside. And then on the inside, I have 5k squared minus 3k plus 4. Could I check my answer? Yes, what would you do? Yeah, just distribute it back out. So it's almost like you're just undistributing here to get this. Now, one thing to note, this is called factor form. Okay, I have my 2 factors. This, if someone asks you to simplify something or leave it in simplified form, that is this original part here. So I want you to write that. This is simplified form. We were talking to the pre-calc pre-AP teachers, and they said that when they say leave it in simplified form, a lot of people try to factor it, and this is not what they want. Okay, they want simplified form is this, like your regular polynomial. This is factor form. Okay, let's do another one. 16x cubed minus 32x squared y. So you get all your exponents right here. Plus 8xy squared. Okay, what's our GCF? What can I take out? 8x. Perfect. Now, if you need to write the division here, you can do that. I'm just going to write the GCF on the outside, 8x. And you're dividing here, so divide each piece by an 8x. So we're left with 2x squared minus 4xy plus y squared. This is coming back to you hopefully quickly too. Not too terrible. Okay, number 3. This one's ugly, so just be cautious. I'm going to write one term at a time so you don't mess up. 12x squared y cubed w minus 15x y to the 4th w plus 6x y to the 3rd w. So you just have to be really cautious on these because you've got so many variables. Remember, you can only take it out if you have a variable in each one that's common. So let's start with the number. What number can I take out of all 3 of those? 3. Can I take out any x's? How many? 1x. How many y's? 3. Right, I've got 3 here, 4 here, and 3 here. So I can take out 3 from all of them. And 1w. When you get these big ones like this, it might be helpful to put that under each one of those if you need to visually see what you're able to cross out. So we're left with 4x minus 5. Any variables here? 1y, good. Plus 2. And that's it, right? One more GCF and then we'll move on. 13 ABC nothing. So I can't factor it. So this is simplest form, or what am I trying to say? What's the word that means you can't factor it? Sergeant? Like, not two. Like, numbers that would be the same would be like 17, 13.
Prime.
Prime, that's what I'm looking for. Prime. It's not factorable. It's prime. Okay, are we good with GCF? Pretty easy, right? Okay, so let's go to difference of two squares. Okay, so difference of two squares. If I write something like x plus 3 times x plus 3, and I multiply that out, I would get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, so I have two factors. My simplified form would be x squared plus 6x plus 9. Difference of two squares, I'm looking for one to be a plus and one to be a minus. If I multiply this out, what would that give me? Yes?
X
X
squared
squared
minus 9.
minus 9. Okay, so what happens is when I have opposite signs here, when I multiply that together and multiply it out, they cancel. This leaves me with a 6x. So difference, meaning subtraction, of two squares. These are both perfect squares. So I want you to write under this is for subtraction only. So like an x squared minus 9, I'm looking at this subtraction. If it was x squared plus 9, I cannot factor that. That would be considered prime. So it has to be subtraction only for two squares. And these are not horrible at all. So first one, x squared minus 64. So yes, I have subtraction. Then look at what's being squared. What's being squared to get this first term? X, and how about for 64? 8. So all we have to write is x minus 8, x plus 8. If you can do either order, you can do x plus 8 and then x minus 8. It does not matter. Of course, they won't say that easy. They don't get too much harder than that. So you might want to review your perfect squares. I think most of you guys know them. 4, 9, 16, 25. Okay, what's being squared here to get the first term? 2x, and for the second term, 7y. So we just write out both of those. One gets a plus, one gets a minus. That is factored form. It can't be factored any more than that. Okay, next one. I'm going to throw in an x to the 4th. So you just say, well, what's being squared here? What's being squared is x squared. What's being squared to get 81? 9. So write out your two factors. X squared minus 9, x squared plus 9. Is that completely factored? No. What else can I do? This one right here is also a difference of two squares. So the directions will always say completely factor. So here we've got an x and a 3. So I'm going to split this one up. X minus 3, x plus 3. Now don't forget to bring this x squared plus 9 into your answer. Because I have to be able to multiply all three of those pieces out to get my original x to the 4th minus 81. So you want to completely factor is what we're looking for. Okay, so see if you can factor that. So figure out what are your two squares, or what's being squared. Double check to make sure that it's completely factored after you factor those two. So you get a 4x squared and a 9y squared. Okay, and then this one right here with the minus sign, I can also break that one down. 2x and 3y. So 2x minus 3y, 2x plus 3y, and then 4x squared plus 9y squared. Does everyone understand the second factoring part? Yes? Okay. Okay, one more. What is the difference of squares? 8x squared minus 18. Do I have any perfect squares? I don't by looking at it, but what could I do here? Yeah, you could factor something out. So what you want to do is, if you can't do anything, look for a GCF. So what can I take out? A 2. So if I take out a 2, we're left with 4x squared minus 9. And now I can factor this binomial, this difference of two squares. So we have 2x and 3. Don't forget this 2 that you took out. It needs to be in your answer. So 2 times 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. Are we good on difference of two squares? Okay, so now we're going to do cubes, sum and difference of cubes. So instead of just difference, we have both sum and difference. Let's review some of your cubes so you remember what you're looking for. 2 cubed is 8. 3 cubed is 27. 4 cubed, 64. 5 cubed, perfect. I don't think it gets much better than that. You can always plug in your calculator. If you think one might be a cube, then just plug it in and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so there are 2 formulas for this. And really, if you think about your difference of two squares, if I put it like this, a squared minus b squared, the formula would be a minus b, a plus b. But really, there's nothing, I mean, you guys all figured that out. So for cubes, we'll have to know these. I'm going to show you a shortcut in a second of how I remember them. So let's start with the sum of 2 cubes. So it's going to have 2 different factors. The first one is a binomial. You just would do a plus b. So whatever's being cubed here goes here, a plus b. So you're going to have a binomial, and then you're going to have a trinomial. The trinomial goes a squared minus a times b plus b squared. And not much changes for difference, just the signs change. Not all the signs though. So the binomial is a minus b, and then a squared plus ab plus b squared. So if you're doing a sum of cubes, this addition matches this addition, and And if you're doing subtraction, then it matches here. Okay, so we're going to do, and I'm going to show you how I remember what order they go in. So let's do x cubed minus 8. Okay, so what's being cubed here on the first term? X. And what's being cubed here? 2. Okay, so the binomial is just x minus 2. If this is minus, this is minus. Those match. X minus 2. For the trinomial, here's how I remember it. It's super corny, but it works. I use the acronym SOFAS. S-O-F-A-S. And I'm going to write what they mean down here. Okay, so for the first S, I'm going to square the first term. So the first term here is x. I'm just going to square it, so it becomes x squared. Square the first term. The O is opposite sign. So if I had subtraction here, I'm going to have addition here. The F, although it's an F, but multiply the factors. Multiply the factors. So take the two things that are here. So I have x times 2, which we would write as 2x. You just multiply basically your A and B. You want to take a guess at what the A is? Add. Always. You always add there. And what about the second S? Square the second term. Bless you. So the second term is 2. 2 squared is 4. So this is your factored form of x cubed minus 8. So you will have to know the formulas for the test. If you want to just remember this, that's what I do. If you want to memorize the formulas, you can do that too. They're not horrible once you start working with them. So let's do another one like that. 8a cubed plus 27. What's being cubed here? 2a, and how about here? 3. So start with your binomial. What's my binomial going to be? 2a plus 3. So this sign always stays the same. If this is plus, this is plus. Okay, and then for the trinomial, if you want to follow the acronym, square the first term. So I just go right here. What's 2a squared? 4a squared. I see a lot of people make the mistake of not squaring the 2. So make sure you square both parts. Opposite sign, so I subtract. The F is the factors. Multiply these two together. What would that give me? 6a. Then I add. And then square the second term. 9. Okay, let's do one more. Number 3. X to the 9th plus y cubed. So that's a 3. So this is, you have to be careful with your exponent properties here. What's being cubed here to get 9? X to the 3rd. And what's being cubed here? Y. So our binomial would be x cubed plus or minus plus y. Then we have our trinomial. Okay, so if I square the first term, is it x to the 5th or x to the 6th? the sixth, right, you multiply exponents, so that becomes x to the sixth. And you can double check yourself. If I was to multiply x cubed times x to the sixth, that would give me my x to the ninth. Opposite sign. Multiply the factors, so these just go together, x cubed y. And then I add. And what's the last term? Y squared. Okay, so take-home quiz is due Monday. If you want, go take pictures of my factoring worksheet so you can practice some of that this weekend.